Good morning, panel. It is my duty as a first-time supervisor of the Florida Police Department to ensure my officers are highly motivated and highly trained, so they can provide citizens of Philadelphia at the highest level of service. I recognize the lack of productivity of our officers is a very serious and sensitive matter that requires my immediate attention and action. I'm going to address my officers at roll call immediately. Roll call is the first 15 minutes of our tour duty that allows uninterrupted time I have with my officers. Through roll call, I'm going to ensure our officers are up to date and informed of the department policy of uniforms. There is a standard procedure in place that officers have to follow at all times. As a supervisor, I am entitled to inspect our officer lockers at any time, and they're supposed to have at least 2 full duties on them in their lockers at all times. I understand that this particular clothing store is selling variation of the police department uniforms. However, if it's not on our department of policy, then the officers cannot wear those particular uniforms. What I would then address it with my immediate supervisor after the particular roll call. I'm going to ensure our officers understand the ethic values that is put in place for our officers. That they are the reflection of the police department. They have to hold their integrity, and I would not allow my officers at that to tarnish the image of the police department by any means. From there on, I have the officers, I'm going to give them department policy within the written form of the uniforms. I'm going to make sure our officers sign this and make sure this is recorded in the center receiving sheet, or SNR, which is going to be then forwarded to our commanding officer. Again, I understand that my officers come from a potential supervisor prior to me that the environment could have been lax. So I'm going to ensure my officers that I do not plan to change the aspect, the outlook of having an environment that's within the working grounds of positivity. I just want officers to be unaware that I expect nothing but the highest for them, and that we are the reflection of the police as a whole. I'm going to now communicate with my supervisor of the potential problem I have with my squad, and that I'm going to solve this matter in a timely fashion. From there, I'm going to see if I can communicate with the prior supervisor, just to get a better understanding of my squad, and just to see how it was operating. Was it a more autocratic, which was more, one-dimensional type squad? Was it more democratic, or was it like free reign, real lax? This would just give me a better understanding as what type of environment these officers were used to. I'm now speak to my peers, other supervisors and other officers, just to hopefully I can establish some clues pertaining to why the squad tends to wear whatever uniform they want and why they now don't do as much activity. And hopefully I also can establish some form of public perception of my officers, which I'm pretty sure won't be positive. From there, I'm going to now conduct my own investigation. I'm going to look at performance evaluations of the squad, past ordinary actions, complaints against police officers, attendance. I'm looking at arrest reports, and these necessary paper trails necessary because I need to understand a timeline as to why this productivity and the lack of activity within the squad has diminished. And I also want to inform through this paperwork, just examine was there disciplinary action that occurred that the officer grew upset about. Was a past officer that potentially got fired from the job, whereas then the officer were very upset that he figured, hey, I'm not going to work no more. These basic understandings are very important to understand how we're going to approach this matter. Now I'm going to conduct a personal observation. Through personal observation, I'm going to simply just monitor officers within my squad interaction and demeanor as they interact with their supervisors and their peers. I'm going to do unannounced and announced pop-up visits on radio call assignments, just to ensure that my officers are conducting themselves in a professional manner when they're dealing with the public. I'm going to also monitor radio calls, just to ensure the officer responds to radio calls in a timely manner. I understand that I'm implementing a lot of changes, and the officer might be remiss to the changes that I'm putting into place. So what I plan to do immediately is conduct a little change within the environment. And one of the first things I'm going to do is do positive reinforcement. I want to just, thank my officer for a job well done. It can be the simplest task, but say, hey, thank you for doing the job in a timely manner. I want to make sure I praise in public and criticize in public, because criticize in private. Because again, there's a time and place for everything. I want to make sure I open up a communication channel to bridge a gap between the officer and myself to increase that morale boost. I want to make sure I provide tools to manage any form of stress and anxiety. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if the environment, the supervisor prior to me, conducted an environment that could potentially more strict and more hostile. So, at the end of the day, I don't know if the officers were, rebellious towards the previous supervisor involved. So through this, I want to, engage my officer in any form of employment assistance program, EAP. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what the officer is going through. I don't know how the past environment potentially affected these officers. So I let my officers know that I have the best interest at heart. And if there's any resource I can provide to them, whether it's EAP, counselor service, I provide it to them. From there, I feel like I established control of the problem. I have notified my immediate supervisor. I have notified my officers at roll call. I have put in positive reinforcement strategies to best and boost the morale boost. But I have to make sure that these measures are not just short term, but long term as well. The best way to do this is through training. Training is a backbone for the police department. So I'm going to ensure that my officers are highly trained, and that training includes myself as well, because I have to lead by example. And also, this is a learning curve for me as well. So through training, we're going to just do standard roll call, we begin with, just update our officer on department policy of the police service area. The police service area is our PSA. It's a geographical area that each officer is assigned to during their tour of duty. Now, through the PSA policy, our officer has a responsibility to impart new knowledge and improve police skills. Also, have awareness of people, places, and activity. And as a supervisor, and again, this training is for me as well, I have to uphold the integrity of the PSAs. To ensure our officers are not necessarily responding to jobs outside the PSA, that they inform of any problem within the PSA. So me and my officer as a whole together can ensure the integrity and make sure the whole PSA grids are handled in a timely fashion. But also, had the department policy of ethics. Let my officers know through responding to radio calls, activity, even physical appearance, we uphold the public perception of the police department. And we have an ethical body to uphold this we are the reflection of the police department. And simply understand I'm doing a lot of changes and I'm important but I'm enforcing these department policies. I have to let my officers know that even during this roll call, that if they are missing their responsibilities to follow department policies of the uniform, as already called in timely fashion, and also understand the values of the police service areas, I will not hesitate to institute progressive discipline. From there, I'm going to immediately go into recognition. I'm going to recognize my officer for a job well done. I know there's a lot of changes, but I want to let the officers know that I appreciate them for the simplest task. And through this recognition, maybe I can say, hey, you're doing a good job. Do you want to get bike training? Hey, you're doing a fabulous job. I think you'll be really utilizing plainclothes training. Hey, you're doing a great job with understanding the problems in the area. Hey, do you want to become our CompStat officer? And CompStat officer is just an officer that updates the squads on any patterns or trends in crime. And I don't want to now divide the squad with now putting the officer within desired positions, but I just want to increase them and understand that they are so important, that their value to the police department is immense. From there, I want to also know that I understand the productivity in the past was down, but these officers are part of the community. We as officers, we spend 1/3 of our lives within the police district that we serve. 1/3 of our lives. So I want to let the officers know that you guys are important to the community. So I want to coordinate with the Police District Advisory Council, the PDAC. Maybe we can conduct a formal community meeting with the officers within any PSA and just conduct a formal meet and greet with the community. So they got a better understanding of officers who are responsible for the area, and the police officers have a better understanding of the stakeholder and the community leaders and the residents within the community. And if there's any problems, we know, hey, that's Miss Shirley. Oh, hey, that's Officer Sumter. With these bases, we just have a big understanding that we can utilize together and we can bridge the gap with the community, and we all can take care of our community as a whole. From there, I'm going to do a follow-up report after 30 days. I want to ensure our officers are in compliance in full uniforms. I'm going to also update with our crime analysis, who handles all crime patterns and trends within the district, to ensure that productivity with my squad, which I know and successfully will be, had all-time level within the past few months. And with this follow-up, again, it's going to come with recognition and praise for my squad, because I know they did a job well done. I'm going to do an after-action report detailing all the steps I provided to ensure the successful implementation and change of my squad. I'm going to forward it to my supervisor. I have trained my squad. I have informed them of the expectations I have planned with them. I have trained myself. I have assured my officers we're going to be highly motivated and highly trained. And that training and motivation, again, include myself as well. Thanks so much for your time, and thank you again.